Hey, Charles Hoffman here from Plugin Alliance. Today, you'll learn how to use the Brainworx BX Enhancer, which is a fast and easy-to-use mixing plugin for musicians. It includes a tuner display, saturator, compressor, EQ, clipper, and advanced stereo imaging controls. There's an auto level feature that allows you to make level-matched A/B comparisons, and it also includes peak and RMS meters, along with a left-right balance meter and phase correlation meter. It's also possible to manually control the input and output levels. BX Enhancer delivers all the data and processing you need to mix raw audio recordings. If you're a musician who plays guitar, bass, drums, synths, or you sing, you can elevate all your recordings to a polished professional level using BX Enhancer. The neat thing about this plugin is that it's simple enough for beginner mixers to use, but provides the advanced processing that people who work as mixing engineers require. The workflow is incredibly streamlined, so this plugin can help you produce more music faster. Before we dive into all the features, you can demo the Brainworx BX Enhancer by starting a free Mega Plan trial using the link below. This will give you access to all of Plugin Alliance's products for 30 days. BX Enhancer has a semi-pre-configured processing chain that's meant to emulate the sound of an analog mixing desk. There's an option to insert the compressor before or after most of the plugin's processing, and we'll cover that later in this video. However, for the most part, you can work very quickly since you don't need to worry about the position of every module. You'll find that the tones this plugin creates are rich, warm, and vibey, just like a hardware mixing console. Let's start with some audio examples so you can hear how it sounds.
Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life.
There is a workflow I recommend you use when applying BX Enhancer to tracks. First, drop the plugin onto an element in your mix and enable the tuner display. You know your instrument is in tune if each note hits 0 on the tuner. If you need to tighten up the pitch, consider using BX Crispy Tuner to quantize your notes. It's also possible to adjust the reference pitch. By default, this value is 440 Hz, which is the standard tuning in Western music, but you can select any value between 300 to 500 Hz. Some popular alternative tunings include 432 and 415 Hz. BX Enhancer's auto level feature addresses the issue of loudness bias, which can trick your ears into thinking that louder sounds appear subjectively better. This feature matches the plugin's output level to its input level. By eliminating loudness bias, BX Enhancer helps you make well-informed mixing decisions, making it very clear whether the processing you've applied is helping or harming your mix. Once you've applied some processing to your track, click the Auto Level button. When you bypass BX Enhancer, you'll be able to focus on changes in character, dynamics, and tonality. If you'd like to make manual level adjustments, there's knobs that control the input and output levels, and peak and RMS meters that provide additional visual feedback. The first processing module that we'll start with is the Sculpt section. The boost knob applies XL saturation to the signal, thickening it up. If you're looking for a crunchier distorted effect, you can toggle this switch into clip mode. As you turn up the boost knob, you may notice that your top end or bottom end starts to dominate the sound, which is normal when heavily saturating a signal. To rebalance that, adjust the basis knob. Turning it to the left will highlight your top end, while turning it to the right will make your low end more present. There's an A mode and a B mode, intentionally left ambiguous so you can lead with your ears. Although if you are curious, the basis knob behaves as a tilt filter when set to A, and a mid boost or mid cut when set to B. Once you've added the color and flavor you want to your recording, it's time to compress it. Not all signals require compression, but many raw recordings do. If you notice that the dynamic range of a track is quite large, and you're having trouble setting its level within your mix relative to other elements, it could probably benefit from some compression. For example, your guitar might generally sound balanced against your vocals, but during certain sections it may appear to overtake the vocals. You can solve a problem like that with compression. This big threshold knob looks important, and it is. It adjusts the level at which gain reduction occurs. When your signal peaks above the threshold level, it will be brought down in level. Depends on the type of compression you're trying to apply, but I have a trick for general purpose tightening. I like to set this so that the smaller peaks of my signal are barely appearing on the gain reduction meter around the knob, while the big peaks are getting hit with a full dose of gain reduction.
Having the time of your life! Having the time of your life!
You have some additional control regarding how gain reduction is applied. The character option that you choose adjusts the compressor's knee. With a soft knee, compression will be gradually applied as the signal approaches and breaches the threshold level. Using a hard knee, no compression is applied as your signal approaches the threshold level, but when it breaches the threshold, it gets slammed with compression. You can expect an almost limiting effect when using a hard knee. The medium setting provides a balance between these extremes. When compressing bass and delicate vocals, I recommend using a soft knee. Try the medium and hard character settings for more aggressive material like drums or metal vocals. Just flip through each option to see which works best for the sound you're processing, and trust your ears. The attack setting controls how quickly gain reduction is applied when your signal goes above the threshold. When set to slow, you'll preserve the articulation of vocals, bass, and acoustic guitar. Using the fast setting, the compressor will clamp down quickly on transients, allowing you to smooth out drums that feel too snappy. The release setting determines how quickly gain reduction stops being applied when the signal drops below the threshold level. With a long release time, one peak in the signal can cause compression to remain applied for over 3 seconds, so you'll end up with this sort of swelling effect that can be used creatively. If you're working with a relatively smooth signal that gradually changes in level over time, like a bass line, you can use a long release and the results should sound smooth and natural. A fast release will deliver a more transparent form of gain reduction that's best suited for drums. As transients drop below the threshold, the gain reduction will back off, and you'll end up with a tight and controlled drum sound without the pumping. You can apply BX Enhancer to individual drum tracks like your kick and snare or your drum bus. The release time you should use for vocals can vary widely depending on the nature of the vocals. For staccato rap vocals, you can use a short release of around 100 milliseconds, and a longer release for smooth singer-songwriter tracks.
Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life.
I recorded those vocals myself, but I'm not a singer. When I work with vocalists who don't write lyrics or top lines, I'm essentially just using their voice as an instrument. But I always send them a demo with fully fleshed out lyrics, melodies, and harmonies. I still give them room to be creative and make changes, but ever since I started doing this, working with vocalists has been super easy. If you're an instrumentalist and collaborate with a lot of singers, you might want to incorporate this practice into your workflow too. This position switch inserts the compressor at one of 2 points in the plugin's processing chain. This image demonstrates a signal's path from the plugin's input to output. As you can see, the compressor is applied immediately after saturation and clipping when set to pre. When set to post, compression is applied after all of the EQ and stereo imaging features right before the mix knob. As a rule of thumb, apply compression first when you plan to make more surgical EQ adjustments. Compression can diminish the effects of EQ when applied afterward. If you want to do general tone shaping with an EQ, you can apply compression afterward to help tie the sound together. When set to pre, you usually end up with a more detailed sound, and when set to post, you tend to end up with smoother results. The mix knob allows you to adjust the blend between the dry signal running into the compressor and the wet compressed version of the signal. This means you can apply parallel compression within the plugin rather than setting up a compressor on an aux track. It's common to parallel compress vocals, guitars, and drums. Parallel compression can make tracks sound bigger and fuller while maintaining articulation. I recommend compressing your signal harder than you would otherwise when applying parallel compression. Once you pull back on the mix knob, the compression isn't going to sound as intense, but the squash signal is going to sit below your transients and fill the space between them. You can also apply sidechain compression using BX Enhancer. The common use case involves applying BX Enhancer to a bass track and routing your kick into the plugin's sidechain input. Instead of responding to the level of the bass, it will respond to the level of the kick. However, gain reduction will still be applied to the bass. As a result, every time the kick plays, your bass will duck in level and provide some extra room for the kick in your mix. Moving on, the color section is an EQ that allows you to filter and modify the tonality of your recordings. There's a high-pass filter that you can use to cut away low end. You may want to cut instruments from 60 to 200 Hz or above to make room for your bass. This is a good way to free up space in the low end and make mixes that hit hard. You have a gain control for the bass, mids, and highs. These A, B, and C options change the bass filter's curve, making the bandwidth wider as you move from A to C. The Excite filter scoops out frequency content around 1000 and 5000 Hz, while boosting frequencies between 10,000 and 20,000 Hz. The filter's intensity will change depending on whether you've selected A, B, or C. This chart demonstrates the filter curve applied to your signal using different bass and excite settings at various intensities. Don't think about how the filter shape looks when EQing your sound. You might find this interesting if you're a big nerd like I am, but it all circles around to how it sounds. Try the different settings, adjust the knobs, and pick one that fits your sound.
Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Go move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life.
On the right side of the color section, there's a low-pass filter that you can use to cut away top end. You may want to apply this to bass guitar and kick drums to remove string noise or rattle. Another option is to automate this feature and use it as a creative effect, either to wash out vocals or introduce a riser to your mix over time. The bottom section includes a mono maker knob that allows you to sum your low end into mono up to 2000 Hz. This can result in a tighter, clearer low end with reduced phase issues.
Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life.
The stereo width knob lets you narrow or widen elements in your mix to fit appropriately within the stereo field. You can use it to sum stereo recordings into mono and then pan them left or right. This left-right balance meter can help you visualize where you've placed the element within the stereo field. When spreading sounds apart to take up more of the stereo field, applying this processing in moderation is usually your best bet. You can run into phase correlation issues at a certain point, so when the sound plays back through a mono playback system, it can lose some of its power and impact. If you want to play it safe, make sure that the pin on this phase correlation meter is sitting closer to +1 than -1 for the most part. It's okay if it briefly jumps toward -1. The real mono compatibility test is listening to your mix in mono and hearing how it sounds. It's not going to sound the same as in stereo, so if it still sounds good to you and you don't hear any big issues that take away from the song, it's mono compatible. The mix knob at the bottom of the UI is similar to the compressor's mix control, but it adjusts the blend between the plugin's dry input signal and processed output signal. Dialing back this knob allows you to apply all of the plugin's processing in parallel.
Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my hand. Move to the rhythm and the beat of my love. Yeah, having the time of your life. Dance all night in the moonlight. Come on and take my
toolbar at the top of the interface will look familiar if you've used other Brainworx products. There's a bypass switch and UI scale feature to support monitors of different sizes and resolutions. You have the option to undo and redo the processing you've applied. Buttons labeled A, B, C, and D let you experiment with different plugin settings without losing your work. If you'd like to try different processing variations, you can copy the settings you've used in one view to another and make adjustments. If you do a comparison and decide that you like your initial settings better, you can revert back to that view. There's also a reset button that will revert the current view settings to their default position. The UI color icon in the top right corner lets you choose different color themes, which is a fun little feature. To get started with the Brainworx BX Enhancer, begin a free 30-day mega plan trial using the link below. This will give you a chance to demo all of Plugin Alliance's products. If this video helped you out, give it a like and subscribe to the Plugin Alliance YouTube channel for more plugin walkthroughs like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.